Got a timer and everything. All right, we're back for episode 43 of the podcast. We are uh here on a Friday afternoon. It's 2 p.m. I think Steven just got off work. I don't know if you work Fridays, but it must be an early day for you. I didn't do shit today.
I do half days on Fridays, which is pretty nice. So,
Dude, I feel like every day is a half day for me. It's kind of cool. You remember in elementary school when did you guys in Fairfax County, was it like Mondays or Thursdays or whatever? You get off at 1 for
uh,
elementary school? Did you guys have that? I know in Prince William County we did it on Mondays, and I think we switched to Fairfax County and it was like Thursdays or something. But you basically get off at 1 on those days.
oh yeah, wow, that memory literally didn't
Half days,
like
bro.
the Vegas, the smallest fade of a memory existed for that, and you just you just turned it back on. It was Mondays for us. Holy crap! Yeah, half days was a thing in elementary school.
Yeah, that was dope, dude. And then
Like,
sometimes also 2 hour delays are half days too.
right, yeah, but that's like a incidental. But the other ones are recurrent, like regular. Um, Man, if you asked me if that was a thing, I would have said I don't know until you made me dig for it just now. God, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
half days are lit, dude. I do feel like if I really tried, I could probably get all my shit done in half the day. But I just kind of let it like fill up the whole day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I was like, all right, I gotta stop working at 2. I could probably arrange my schedule to make it so I stop working at 2 and get the same level of productivity. But obviously, I'm probably not gonna go and do that. It requires too much effort.
yeah, yeah.
um, so what have you been up to this week? I think did we talk about it last week? You started training for a fight that's 2 months out.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about it, but yeah, I've started an 8 week fight camp, returning to competition after 4 years away. So it's quite a shock. And yeah, I've just been training my ass off this whole week.
Are you nervous?
Absolutely, absolutely nervous. But it's like, you know, it's like all the dimensions of nervousness that happen quickly, scared, excited, nervous, anxious, excited, scared, nervous, excited, anxious, like, just kind of like on a little loop that rolls on.
Do you feel like you're locked in yet? I know, like your training probably literally just started this week. So,
Yeah, I'm not
like,
locked in at all.
at what
Not
point? At
locked in at
what
all.
point? Like, is there like a switch where you're like, all right, I'm like locked in, and like, is it noticeable when it happens? And when does it usually happen? Does it happen during training, or does it happen like fight day, fight week?
Um, so the first one actually just happened yesterday, which is why I'm kind of like in a demoralized state. But it's the gift, right? It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's when you get your ass beat. Well, there's the first one is like when you just gas out and you can't complete the round, right? And like the coach or whoever's you're with is telling you to push, to go, you got to finish this, and you're like, fuck, I can't, right? But then you're like, I can, but then you do like this like weak piddly thing just to get the check, just to say that you did it. And so the good news is that, I mean, that's a bit of a wake up call, but for me, that's not a big deal because I've been through before. I know that, cool, try again tomorrow, tweak my sleep, tweak what I ate, whatever, do more of this type of cardio. But the one that really hits hard that happened to me yesterday is when you get your ass beat because you're like too slow, you're too tired. And what's funny about the way I got my ass beat yesterday is actually a part of the reason why I've decided to go off Adderall for the next 2 months is because while Adderall helps me so much in kind of my day-to-day life in terms of like sticking to routines and schedules and administrative stuff, kind of like the trappings of regular societal life. Um, the problem is that kind of like by the time I hit my peak PM training moment. Like I'm on the come down of Adderall, and fighting requires so much brain. Like I kind of, like I literally, it's like, when those like DDR rhythm type beat games, or like Beat Saber. Have you played it? Where things just keep coming at you, right? And when you just start missing them, and you keep missing them, and you miss, and then it gets worse. Like it starts to avalanche, and then you die. Like, imagine that, but like, every time you miss, you get hit in the face or kicked or punched in the stomach. So the frustration and the futility, the feeling of like frustration and futility, plus the punishment, is like quite it's special. So
do they drug test? Do they drug test for stuff like Adderall and fighting?
They don't. They don't. I'm not professional either, so they don't drug test. Like if I wanted to go on a full steroid program, I could. It's an amateur. It's not regulated.
Oh, that's cool.
One would, yeah. Maybe I should do that.
I do know when you take Adderall and you play sports, you're much better than you would be had you not taken Adderall. Obviously, it doesn't apply if you take it in the morning and then you don't train until 8 p.m. But if you took a 7 p.m. Adderall and went to training, like in basketball, you just don't miss shots.
Yeah, I thought of that.
It's crazy how your body, you can just like, your body just ignores any pain signals or whatever the fuck, tired, all that stuff, because it's just like so focused. It's like automatic in the zone flow.
Yeah, it's a really tough topic, honestly, because I mean, I use it for daily maintenance and to like keep my head above water and stuff. But at the same time, I'm not going to stick my head in the sand and not acknowledge that obviously it's performance enhancer, right? And for all those reasons. So, and I've thought about that too, right? I was like, so I take XR, extended release, which is why I'm like extra drained by the time the evening comes around. Like XR just kind of works differently. And then so I thought about doing spurts of IR and then maybe doing like an IR instant release like before training, but then like sleep is also super, super, super important in terms of like recovery when you're doing stuff like this. And we'll see. But I definitely don't want to fuck with my sleep, because when I'm training this hard and I don't get the sleep, like it shows up so bad the next day.
Yeah. I agree with that. Dan, when was the last time you were off Adderall? Is it gonna affect like how do you think this is gonna cascade into into other areas of your like work life and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think I'll be okay, because I actually think that for me, Muay Thai training to the level of like fight camp training is my Adderall. It's not this, like, you know what I mean? Like the unfortunate diagnosis of me is that there's no safe, like there's no safe path, right? Either I have to take an unsafe chemical or have to engage in unsafe activities to get my energy out and to develop attention, right? And to like have my dopamine, like in good shape. So, I think it should be okay. The other good news is that like, I'm fairly veteran at my job. Like I'm good at it. It's easy. So I should be okay. And I'm also don't have kids. I'm not in a relationship. Like those are all the things that kind of exacerbate ADHD symptoms. So
okay, so
like, dude, like remembering your anniversary and choosing the right gift, that occupies like, that's like a fight camp for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm bad at gifts, so you just gotta accept that. Okay, so obviously you decided to fight 2 months from now. But once you made that decision, a bunch of other decisions were made because of that big decision. Can you get into, obviously Adderall is one of them. Like it sounds like because of this fight, this is the most important thing in the next 2 months. I need to align everything to this. Obviously Adderall was something that you thought was a positive at one point, but not for this. So the decision was made, no Adderall. I'm sure there was a bunch of other decisions too, like maybe you stopped going out. Like, can you kind of walk us through what things fell into place once this big decision was made for you?
Sure, sounds good. Yeah, and um, before we move on, I did want to touch on what I mentioned just before this, which is like I think that Adderall for me is not super, super, super important if the only person I need to take care of is myself, right? Or be around is myself. Like, and I actually really enjoy my alone time. But as soon as you involve other people I need to take care of, whether it's my team at work or my team in the gym or my friends, trips that we're planning, or a significant other or family, that's where the Adderall becomes really important. So that's why it was an easier decision for me to make. But it wouldn't always be an easy decision. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, it is interesting how like it's a matrix of like primary, secondary decisions and effects, right? But the first couple things are my meals have been pretty consistent now. Like I actually have to eat breakfast now, which is super, super weird for me because I usually don't eat breakfast. Usually don't eat until 2, 3 p.m. And I run every day, which I have before, but unless there's a fight, it's hard for me to kind of do that. At least 3 to 5 miles every day. And I guess, a lot of things that would normally bother me don't bother me anymore. And it was good timing because our last pod episode was on memento mori. So maybe there's just like a coincidence there. But I mean, there are a lot of things that happened this week that would have bothered me, but because I was in this kind of like fight mindset, I mean, they didn't bother me at all. Like they registered, they showed up on my radar, but I was like, doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. Like that's their problem, not my problem. That's that thing. Or cool, we'll deal with it later. Or, who cares? So it was refreshing, I guess, in a sense. It was like putting on a different persona. And it reminds me of sometimes when people, it's not something I've done personally for myself, but I've heard other people have this where they have alter egos that they may summon, right? To kind of act in a way that they would want to grow in. So maybe it feels a little bit similar to that, right? Like I'm like assuming kind of a different ego structure for myself. Like one where Steven's a fighter. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, because the idea in itself, and this is more general, is a lot of times people just always want to keep their options open. I mean, it's viewed as a positive thing to keep options open as much as possible because, like, why wouldn't you want to be able to do A, B, C, D, E, or F? The more options, the better, because obviously you just pick the best option if you're given a lot of options to choose from. But then there's also the idea of burning the ships and then forcing you through, like you must do this. There's a huge difference there between, oh yeah, there's a bunch of different things we can do versus, hey, you must do this. You must do this thing. So, and I think there's certain things obviously in life when you see it, like if somebody has kids, then you must do this. Everything else in your life changes because you decided to have kids. And I know you've talked about not having kids, and I don't know how 100% that is, but that also lays the foundation for a lot of other things if that's like as close to 100% as it can be. You know what I mean? So it's interesting because I don't like making decisions. Kind of like keeping, having my options open, super last minute for making decisions. Like if someone's planning a trip, I'll be like, yo, just let me know when you guys are about to book and I'll let you know if I could go. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to make that decision until until it hurts me to not make it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if everyone books all their flights and I'm on a different flight, that's gonna take away from the trip. So just tell me at the last minute. But if I have to tell you 2 months in advance, and then I kind of have to remember, oh yeah, I have to book this flight at some point in the next 2 months, then it's not less than ideal for me. It takes up mental space when it doesn't have to, and there's just like I don't know. I guess I just like inconveniencing others.
Yeah. It is kind of sad though, right? Like people have kids and it still doesn't become a must-do situation for them. You think about it, but yeah, I mean, what is a must? Like that's why I think fighting is really interesting to me because like that definitely classifies as a must-do. But there's even guys who like half-ass their training or make a lot of excuses for themselves. So then, like, it's crazy what the human defense mechanism will do. Like even fighting is not a must do for some people, depending on how delusional they are.
Yeah, and you know the must thing is obviously an internal like compass in a way. It's like, all right, I mean maybe for you and maybe for a lot of people, you sign up for a fight, you know your friends are gonna come watch. The must is I don't want to get my ass beat in front of everybody, so I must do this. And you've been in fights before and you know how much it takes to train and you know what type of commitment that is. So maybe that's why it becomes a must. But maybe for some people, they're like, oh, I'm just, Muay Thai is like a hobby. Doesn't matter if I get my ass beat. You know, I'm just doing it for fun. And so they take it like, less seriously. Same thing with kids. I think growing up in a family where like everyone's taken care of and seeing how much work and all that stuff my parents put into myself and my siblings, I know that when I have kids, there's going to be a lot of must-dos. I'm not going to be able to keep the same lifestyle, having saw that. But let's say I came up in a bad household. Parents were never around. Obviously, I'm still here anyways because I guess, I at least made it to adulthood to have a kid. But then once I have a kid, because it's not a must, because it wasn't a must for me. And you're right, it's weird when you talk about how that doesn't become a must for somebody. But it's probably based on the experiences. And also it's weird because like there's probably some level of evolutionary biology that like makes it so that, or some genetic like predisposition. Once you have a kid, there's probably all these like chemicals that come out that make it so, oh yeah, like I love this thing. And I should dedicate a lot to it, and it still isn't powerful enough.
It sounds like we're almost kind of talking around intrinsic motivation and values, right? Like you said, any person can show up to a fight and be motivated by completely different reasons, right? Like one guy be like, oh, I want to look like a badass, or I want to prove to myself, or I want to be strong, or I just want to see what my athleticism is like, or I want to win the game, or I want to learn so much about Muay Thai and just like understand the game itself. But none of those things are things you really pick. Of course there's a nature nurture component, but it could be anything. And motivation is interesting, isn't it? If you kind of unpack it, I know motivation is part of this like, multi-million-dollar self-help industry and what have you, and now everyone's been throwing away. It's been like fashionable to like stomp on motivation and talk about like hard-nosed discipline, but motivation is really important. And like people are not really talking about that anymore. Like what motivates people or you, and along what lines, right? Like some people just want to have a six-pack and look good and pull game, right? Like, and some people just want to live until they're 100, but both people have six packs.
Yeah, I think what's the relationship between motivation and discipline? Is discipline doing some shit when you're not motivated, or like when you have little motivation but you still find a way to do it anyways? Or can we define it as something else?
It's a good question. I think discipline's more neutral than that. I think discipline is just doing it. Like,
okay, so discipline has nothing to do with motivation. It's whether you do it or you don't.
Yeah. It's just doing it.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I'm probably very undisciplined.
And then discipline has the benefit of creating motivation or adding to motivation um, as well. And like some people, they just have. I think people are just some people are just naturally motivated. They have like base motivations. No rhyme or reason to it, just the way they are. But uh, for people who don't really have that yet, discipline helps you discover what your inner motivations and gifts could be, right? Like, let's say you have a kid, right? I don't know. I think this is a common refrain among my friends that are parents, and it's one that I always agreed with when I thought I would have kids. Is like, oh, I'm gonna have my kid play every sport, every instrument. Like, I'm gonna give them the right nudge for them to, like, I'm not gonna let them quit right away, but I want them to try it out, get what they can or want, and then move on to the next thing if they want to, right? Why is that? Well, because you want to expose them to all these things. You want them to persevere beyond the point where it gets, that first barrier, and see if there's anything there, right? And that's where discipline has to come before motivation, it seems like. And if you don't have that first discipline, you might be leaving a lot on the table, a lot undiscovered. It might have been a whole entire life path that you could have gone down. Who knows? Life is kind of funny like that. So,
Yeah, I think I have relatively um low discipline. Like I don't like doing shit I don't want to do, so I just don't do it sometimes. That's probably bad, but at the same time, I never have to do anything I don't want to do as of yet.
yeah. But I think, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. But like, I will say that like hanging out around for you, for example, like let's say that like maybe I'm more extreme. Like I definitely may have gone hard on the side of diet and exercise and what have you, right? But man, I don't know if you've been around for some of my binge eating sessions where I'm just like, oh my god, like this is so good. But I think hanging out around you, relatively speaking, I remember we were like, gotta eat something, right? That pick that you pick has always fallen within that 80-20 threshold of, I think, of health. It's like, and I think that's discipline, right? It's maybe more of a low cost discipline, but it's not discipline.
Yeah, it just feels weird because to me that's not discipline. That's like, all right, look, takes like very little effort. Like to me, like this, you know what I'm trying to say? Like it takes like basically no
Yeah.
effort to eat this thing that's like not fried. It still tastes decent to me.
Okay, well, let's look at this. Like, and I'm not saying this is you or me, but like a lot of people have trouble like brushing their teeth every day, showering every day, or like floss, whatever, right? Like basic self-care stuff. It doesn't take a lot of effort, but it takes discipline.
What's the threshold between something you don't want to do and then like you just do it anyways? I've seen people like let's say Z for instance, like that dude can literally do something he doesn't want to do for like 100 hours straight. And
Yeah.
for me, I'm just like, ain't no way. You know what I mean? That's just not I can't do that. I guess like the things that I do want, so I guess I lean towards the things that I do want to do that's still good, and I try to double down on that. So I think I heard a quote. I think Naval Ravikant said something along the lines of, "You should look for what feels like play to you, but looks like work to others, and you should like go more into that because that's where your strengths are gonna lie." Um, so like it doesn't feel like work for me to eat something healthy within reason. If it's
Hmm.
just like chicken and broccoli with no seasoning, I can't do that. But
Okay.
you give me some seasoning and maybe I can throw some sauce on it. Um, I could do that shit all day, and it's not gonna cost me much because the delta between that healthy meal and like let's say something like completely unhealthy is not that high for me. You see what I'm trying to say? So for me, that's kind of like doesn't feel like that much work. So it doesn't require that much discipline. But I guess in the eyes of others, they would be like, "Oh, that's very disciplined."
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. I mean, so let's just say that like in that area you just already have some kind of affinity for it already, right? Maybe you already had some stat points there already, and maybe you got some more. But I think back to the have you heard of like the T-shape skill set or
Yeah, the it's like you have a bunch of skills and then you kind of understand a little bit of all of them, but then you go like really deep in like
oh
only
one.
one or two categories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I think back to the 80-20, right, of like max value and minimizing diminishing returns. Maybe that discipline area is just to make sure that you got that bottom area, that T, right? Like, what if you just have an L, you know, and you're missing the whole other side of the T? Like, getting that other side of the T is all discipline, as far as I'm concerned, right? Like, once you have like that line, then yeah, everything beyond it is like whatever. You figure out how deep you want to go, and maybe it's not discipline, maybe it isn't, because you have like already a natural, you have something there, right? But starting off at zero, I think starting off at zero is that's maybe one definition of discipline. Like anything where you're starting off at zero.
Yeah, that's starting at zero. I wonder if
But then you plateau too, right? So it's like it just resets. It's like because once you get to the next plateau, you're essentially at another conceptual zero.
yeah, I kind of like the idea of the T-shaped thing because I do like being at least a generalist at a lot of things. Um, and I guess like when you want to go deeper in a topic, it really needs to be something that you're naturally motivated to or have some sort of affinity there. Because I mean, man, that'd be terrible if you tried to go deep on something that you really didn't fuck with, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. It's funny because my mind is going back now, thinking of like how I mean, T shape is like nice and all and very neat, but you're also gonna get like the neighboring disciplines, right? Like
Hmm.
you have your T, you're deep on one, but your adjacent topic areas are also you're gonna have like a pretty high level of expertise and competence there too. And then you start to do that, and it just looks like a bell curve, right? And it's just where the majority of your time, effort, and energy naturally falls, including the the stacks on either side of it. But it's these sacred symbols, man. They keep coming up. What's going on?
The bell curve.
Just all sorts of shapes and geometries. You know what's really interesting? I'm not I don't know anything about statistics, but what's been really interesting for me is just looking at like things that are not normally distributed and skewed, like all the skewed distributions are sometimes fun to go back into. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't realize like so heavy that way or that way, or even bimodal ones, right, where there's like two bumps. Like
What's an example of that one that has two bumps? That sounds interesting.
I don't know. Let me look it up right now on Google.
You talking about like something that's not balanced, like the 80-20 rule, or like how like 1% of the population has like 99% of the wealth, or something like that. I just made up that stat, but it's probably something pretty extreme.
Yeah, let me look up an example. But basically, it has two humps. Uh,
What is that called?
Bimodal distribution. For example, the number of customers who visit a restaurant each hour follows a bimodal distribution, since people tend to eat at two distinct times, lunch and dinner. Let's see, what are more examples? Uh, Starting salaries for lawyers, book prices, restaurant hours, speed limits, disease patterns. Those are some
Oh,
of the
that's interesting.
examples. Yeah.
I wonder why that happens. It's harder to think of examples of bimodal because it doesn't make intuitive sense. Like single bell curve makes sense. Like I think that's the one that everyone knows or should know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
like one standard deviation. What does that mean?
yeah. Because in this one, the middle range is actually like a low, is a valley, right? Um, because the two peaks occur on the either side of the median.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I guess it depends on what the x-axis is.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so I have a question. Um,
Sure.
okay, so my first question is, how certain are you that you're not going to have kids on purpose? And you just have
99.9.
99. Okay, so you're
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
certain that you're not going to have kids on
yeah,
purpose.
yeah.
Um, okay, so having made that decision, um, I guess what because probably if I asked you this question 1 to 2 years ago, the percentage probably wasn't 99.9. It was probably like, what was it, like 50?
It was like
Less
50
than.
probably, yeah.
Okay. Um, I guess like what data points or like what variables are you considering to make this decision? That's my first question. Was there anything that made it a clear decision or make it a close decision? And also, do your parents know, and what do they think?
Um, okay, so you know, it's hard not to talk about everything in relation to the pandemic because of the past couple of years, but I think it was a combination of my past relationship going through pandemic and then also now like kind of actively like kind of caretaking for my parents a little bit. And um my parents have a pretty good sense and they're totally neutral on it. I mean, having not deciding not to have kids, but I think having gone through these situations where, like, if I look back in the show reel of my life, in each and every situation where I was trying to help, like, guide, help out someone that I cared about, those were actually some of the most frustrating times of my life. Like really, like right now, and I'm not alone, right? Like I recently have been having so many conversations, great, really vulnerable, connecting conversations with folks about like taking care of elderly parents, right? But I just imagined having to do that, over and over and over and over again for my own kids, and it wasn't worth it to me. Like it wasn't worth the high, because yeah, it was too draining, like way too draining. Because when you love somebody and you're in a position in which of providership or a position of where you can help more, at the same time that you are like involving yourself and investing yourself, you also have to let go. Um, and it's just not a place I like to be. And I don't know, that wasn't very specific, but feel free to ask clarifying questions.
So the last sentence you said, you have to involve yourself, but then also let go.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
Um, so let's say, for example, right? Let's say you have a friend who is not taking care of themselves, right? Maybe they're going through depression, which is a really great case, for example. And they literally, all of the problems that they have in their life can be solved through these small things that they should do. And uh, and it's not as easy as, right, just coaching them to do this or that. In part, it's like coaching them to like love themselves, coaching them on these topics that you and I regularly talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for someone who doesn't get it or understand it, it is, and arguably that's the way it should be. It's never up to us to kind of help those people process and understand those things. But I think watching that person try to get through it and watching them continue to hurt themselves and potentially hurt others is, I mean, it just took too much out of me. And I'm not saying that I'm not washing my hands of that, right? There's plenty of that that's going to continue to happen in my life. With, you know, I'm totally ready to continue doing that for all sorts of people in my life going forward. But if those, like, I don't have as much capacity as other people to do it, right? If I had my kids on top of it, 100%, everything else would shut down, and I could probably not even be able to show up the best for my kids in that way. So that was my personal assessment of it. So, yeah. And I apologize. I feel not very clear-headed in a lot of these explanations. So.
No, you're good, dude. No, I was just curious. So I guess the variables you considered was, sounds like mainly how much effort it takes and where you would have to, I mean, once that turns into like a must, like I must take care of my kids, there's no negotiating around that, then a lot of other stuff has to automatically go away. But it sounds like the amount of effort that it takes to actually fully take care of a person is makes it like not worth it.
Yeah. So I'll give another example. Okay. So like we had to get my dad to stop driving. Right. He has Parkinson's. He's, you know, old. He should not be driving. And like, no matter what we said, no matter how I approached it, whether I approached it from a logical perspective, like, or like an emotional perspective, or like whatever I couldn't make my case. I literally tried everything, right? Pull back, push in, whatever, recruit this person, use this example. And then like at the end of the day, my dad is a man, right? Full legal powers under the law. He's my father. He's going to go do whatever he wants. And even though he could go out there, he's a car, right? We're talking about something that weighs like what, 3,000 pounds, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Does everyone know that force equals MA function? Yeah. Okay. So, and I was like, Dad, look, at the end of the day, you make this decision and you hurt yourself. That's obviously going to hurt me a lot. But I also want you to consider the potential that you hurt somebody else. Like you accidentally like wipe out a biker or someone pushing their like kid on a stroller. I was like, can you please think through that through with me? And so like for a while, nothing changed and he would still drive. And the car would come back with like new dings and scrapes. And I was like, Dad, where did this march come from? He's like, nothing, whatever. I'm like, okay. And that stressed the fuck out of me. And in that moment, I thought back to all the parents of like rowdy, rebellious teenagers that just did whatever the fuck they wanted, right? And what are you going to do as a parent? Because when kids are teenagers, it's very interesting because they think they're adults. I thought I was an adult when I was a teenager, right? They're going to do whatever they want. And what are you going to do about it, right? Okay, you can come down on them hard and be like, all right, while you're under this household, you know, like it's my house, my rules, whatever. I'm taking away your car. Does that really work though? Right? Like if you didn't build the relationship ahead of time. Like, I mean, look, humans should not be controlled. Souls should be free. I do not want to sign up to have ownership of another soul. You know, like the souls that are out there should continue to be free. Like, but that responsibility is too much, dude.
Yeah, it does sound like a lot.
Yeah.
Probably just have to, when I do it, I probably just have to marry someone that could like take care of all that shit for me.
Yeah.
Offload some of that shit.
Yeah. So it's funny because like, it's like one of those, like, well, we talked about stoicism last podcast, and yeah, I could very much, you know, logically be like, oh, it's something I can't control, so like, don't worry about it. I'm like, man, no, I'm worrying about it. So, but it's just a joke. Yeah,
it will be your spiritual practice forever.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, those are good reasons. I think it's interesting because, you know, nowadays a lot of people are not having kids. Obviously, a lot more than 10, 20, 30 years ago. I wonder what percentage of people don't have kids now compared to before. And like, I would, I wonder what the main reasons that cause that are. Is it, I mean, obviously there's probably some economic reasons as well. Um, but there's probably a bunch, like a confluence of reasons. It's probably not just, one. I
Yeah.
think, I think a lot of the reasons you listed are obviously like pretty well thought out and such. But I wonder what the general, um, I wonder what percentage of the population that used to have kids, and what percentage of the population currently are having kids. And of the people that aren't having kids, what are the? If you were like, yo, what's the number one reason? What would they list?
Yeah. There's a lot of economic literature on this actually. And I think it was like it was recently within the past 2 years that the US went negative on their birth rate. I think it's a well documented phenomenon for first world countries to eventually get negative birth rates, which is why immigration policy is so important, right? Because that's the only way you replenish. And arguably, that is kind of why America is in the situation it is now, is because we are just in that stage of the evolution of empire, where like, I hate to say it, but like shit's just too good and it has been. And that's why you get some of these different pathologies developing in society. But I mean, I think the big obvious ones are, I think it's driven in two ways, right? Or actually, it's almost a paradox. If you think about like our generation, where there is fiscal anxiety, right? Especially around 2008 and what have you, that crisis. And even for the folks that have recovered or are in pretty good states, there is still always this anxiety that an economic crisis could happen, that global warming is a thing, that that honestly you could get a terminal diagnosis, right, in this country, and it would just deplete all of your bank account, and you better hope Medicare covers what it can, right? That could change at a moment's notice. So I think that's probably one of the big predictive factors for people not having kids.
And that financial reason is probably like a big one.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it,
the funny thing, yeah,
you're signing up for,
sure.
hey, I have to take care of this thing with time and money for 18 years. And if you do multiple of them, then that means you're also signing up for all the labor and jobs you have to do to get enough money to. And just because you have the money for it doesn't mean it's not a lot of work. You have the money for it, great. But then on top of that, you have to spend the money and caretake, with the kids on your off time. So there's like no off time.
Yeah. Yeah. And sorry, I jumped in there because one thing that I wanted to say as you're talking was that even for folks that can seem very secure and stable and well off, like it's almost the same level of anxiety and neuroticism. And I use that because that's a relative term, right? It doesn't matter where you are, you have that same fear. Arguably, the more you have, the more you're afraid of losing it too. So I would actually say that there's plenty of lawyers and doctors and what have you out there that are just so over leveraged and so afraid that like this kingdom of theirs is going to fall, and this like crazily fragile, tenuous structure of like, my maid and my daycare and my, therapist and my, dry cleaning, like all of this stuff collapses very easily, very easily.
I feel like having kids would be a fun problem to solve. like solve like I mean not like it's a problem or like you need to solve it, but
Wait,
um
wait, wait, wait. Can I clip this so that when you have your kids, I can play this back to
yeah,
them?
dude. Yeah, like I'll make them watch this. Like, you see how much I sacrificed? I could have not had kids. And
Yeah.
then they won't even know what the hell I'm talking about until they're old enough to have kids themselves. They'll literally be like, "What are you talking about, Dad? Who the fuck cares what you think?" And then
Oh my god.
and they won't understand anything of what you're saying until they get old enough to experience it, and by then, who knows?
Okay, so you're calling. I'm cheesing so hard because you're bringing up probably the saddest thing that I'm gonna miss out on having kids is being able to troll them, like literally having these little humans that you get to just play jokes on forever because you're so much smarter than them and like you're watching their brains evolve and you control their lives. Like,
It'll probably be really cool to watch your kids surpass you.
yeah,
Like to, one day at some point when obviously your kid is more able than you are. I mean, I don't think that's a guarantee to happen for everybody. Obviously if you're a bad parent and the kid has no fighting chance, then it's less likely to happen. But I mean, that must be like a cool feeling one day when you're, you know, like if I had a kid and let's say he beats me at basketball and I've been teaching him, since he was like small, and then he's like 14 or something, he just beats my ass one game one on one. Obviously I'm gonna be old and out of my prime or whatever, but that would still be like, oh shit, this little fucker did it, um, and that would probably be pretty cool. I don't know, and I feel like I mean, okay, so maybe I'm just thinking for like maybe I'm just like biased here for my own perceived strengths and weaknesses, but I do think I have a strength in terms of adaptability, and I feel like that's necessary when you have kids. I'm sure there's also some sort of um, you probably need some level of, I guess, organization and planning and shit too, and I'm sure I can outsource that to my future wife, hopefully. But I think the spontaneity, like like when your kid does this random thing on a Tuesday afternoon and you have to fucking figure it out for them. I
yeah,
think I'll be okay in those situations. You know what I mean? Um, so I don't know. So I think that'll probably be fun. Solving those
yeah,
problems.
yeah. I would totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Um, but I will say it's. I mean, it's all environment. Like it always depends on the environment, right?
Hmm.
Like relatively. Um, like let's say for example though, like all of that, but you also had to work like this like soul crushing corporate job and commute an hour each way, right? It changes everything.
Yeah, dude, I would
You know?
downsize my lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be like,
And
guys,
that's if you're lucky, right? Yeah.
we're not eating out. We're not a family that does that. Ramen packets only. Actually, wait, what's the lowest? Okay, let's say you want it to be healthy,
Okay.
but you're on like a college budget. What's like the $5 per day meal spend? Like, would it be like a lot of what's like the cheapest healthy meat? Like
It's probably
ground beef,
oatmeal. It's
oatmeal,
probably it's probably oatmeal and beans or some shit. It's actually probably rice and beans. Now that I think about it. Rice, beans,
rice and beans.
and
What
then
type of
whatever the
meat?
cheapest meat is. I don't know,
It's gotta be
chicken.
like it's gotta be like that manager special like ground beef that's been sitting there for like 3 days, right? Chicken,
Yeah.
tuna, cans of tuna.
I
Tuna
don't
has
think canned
mercury in it.
food. Yeah, I don't think canned food beats out. It's probably yeah, it's probably rice, beans, and like yeah, manager special meat.
Manager
But
special
but
meat.
even there's chicken. So like the Korean grocery stores around here, they sell these big bags of chicken drumsticks for 69 cents a pound, and I actually don't think anything beats that.
Okay, so frozen meat.
No,
Wait,
no,
what you said is
it's not frozen.
oh, it's
It's
not
fresh.
frozen.
Yeah, so it's fresh chicken drumsticks for 69 cents a pound. I'm pretty sure because even whole chickens are 99, at least $1 a pound. I think that's the cheapest one.
Dude, I think chicken. This is a hot take. I think dark meat chicken uh, is a better tastes better than lobster. But I think
Oh,
because I think lobsters are so like scarce. Obviously, they cost a whole lot more. They're harder to get. So like I think if they were the same level of scarcity, I think chicken wins out. Like imagine if lobsters were just plentiful and then chickens were like kind of like hard to get because you had to like I don't know like fly in the air to catch them and we couldn't do that or something like that. Like chickens, like it would be so obvious that chicken, like there's, I don't know, chickens are just a better fucking product and value. They're just cheaper, so people view it as cheaper, but it's actually not. Lobsters are annoying to fucking eat. You know, your hands get all dirty and shit like that, and it's like a status thing as opposed to a yes, dude. So going back to the 69 cents for a bag of drumsticks, I mean that's to me that's like eating lobster. So I could totally do that. My kids are eating drumsticks, dude.
wow! Thank you for that moment. I don't disagree. And I also hit diminishing returns on lobster very fast. Like I can't eat a lot of it if I'm being honest. Like I went to a lobster buffet once in Florida. It was infinite, unlimited lobster for like $54 or something. And I think the most one person in our group ate was like 11, and I maybe ate 6. But
Yeah.
I probably could have stopped eating after like 1.5 or 2. And I'm a big eater, like, and I love seafood, so it's like not like I'm saying this as someone who already doesn't like lobster, crab, shrimp, clams, oysters, and all that kind of stuff. Or,
It's like the Asian gene kicked in and you had to like eat four more than you wanted to.
yeah,
But yeah, we already
yeah,
paid
yeah,
$54 for this shit.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, dude, they should have an unlimited chicken buffet and it'll just be $10.
yeah. yeah. Oh, it didn't occur to me now until just now about why those drumsticks are so cheap. It's probably because the wings all got taken away and sold as wings, and so they have this surplus of drumsticks they don't know anything to do what to do with.
Dude, I think chicken thighs and drumsticks are very underrated.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, if they were a delicacy, man, those things. I like chicken thighs. I mean, because I think it's like the fatty part of the meat, so it tastes better.
yeah,
But it's still healthy ish because it's obviously I guess unless you fry it or something, um,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
um,
I agree, totally agree.
yeah, man, I could totally live on. What's the lowest amount? Okay, let's say you're training for your fight, but let's say you were broke.
hmm
Like, what would you be eating? Like, I'd probably be doing a whole lot of fucking dark meat chicken because it tastes good and it's probably you can cook it like in a healthy manner. You said rice and beans probably.
rice and beans is actually very, very nutritionally complete, especially when you combine them together. They actually have a synergy. So I think rice, beans, and chicken. I don't think anything can beat that. And then, and especially if you get dry beans and you soak them yourself, then your budget gets even more ridiculous. Like, I'm on a lot of like finance subreddits, like personal finance, like helping people like get out of debt and consolidate and save for retirement. And a lot of times people like they tell their life situation, and the common advice is rice, beans. Stay healthy. Obviously, health is not something you should compromise, but if you got to cut it down to the absolute minimum. Um, and there's also this other one that I researched, which is in terms of the most minimum that you need to survive to stay alive and still have like the most nutritional value for your buck is actually potatoes and butter will keep you alive. Yeah.
Do
If
you
you
need
combine those
vegetables?
two, you don't need, yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about surviving. We're not talking about like diving. You only need potatoes and butter. White potatoes are actually super underrated. Super, super, super underrated.
I
They're
think
so good for you.
they get a bad rap.
Yeah, because of the things we do to them, and then the things we add to them, right? And people think that they're like like carbs, but yeah, white potatoes are super good for you as long as you just you bake them, steam them, whatever, cook them in other ways instead of frying. Excuse me.
Hmm.
That's why that what is it? The Martian, right? He's stuck on Mars and he ends up growing potatoes, surviving off potatoes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I never watched that.
Yeah.
Is that a book or a movie? That was a
Yeah,
movie,
it
right?
was a book first, and then turned into a movie.
Damn, that's crazy, man. All right, chicken diet. Here we go. Wait, so rice, beans, and chicken, you don't need vegetables, or does beans count as a vegetable? Do you need green vegetables or no?
Like define need, like
Like,
wait. Are we talking about like what you're
no,
giving
no,
to your
no.
kids, right?
I'm
Was
talking
that
about
hypothetical?
I'm talking about 80-20 of health if you're broke. So you are not just
Mm.
surviving, but let's say you're like, trying to be as healthy as possible, but you have like $10 a day. Like, would vegetables make the cut? And if so, what's the what's the vegetable that makes the cut?
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know.
I mean, because
It
I
seems
started doing athletic greens, and that's $3 a fucking scoop, bro. Um, that doesn't seem very efficient.
$3 a scoop.
If you buy the subscription, then it's like $2.50 a scoop.
Dang, I just have the Amazon brand, whatever that one is.
I was using the Amazon brand for a little bit, but I stopped using it. But when I had that athletic greens, I was just using it because I was like, yo, I paid a bunch of money for it. So in my head, I'm like, all right, fine. If this is gonna make it so that I'm gonna use it, obviously I wouldn't be doing this if I was like trying to live on $10 a fucking day. But
Yeah.
and I take collagen protein too, or
Mm.
collagen peptides or whatever. Somebody said that was good. I never did my own research, but I trusted the source. It was Marwan.
Dude. Oh, anyway, I have a hot take too. That's not scientific, but I actually think that the like ethnic foods are some of the best things you could eat.
Like in terms of
Could-
health or in terms of taste or
Yeah, in terms of health, actually, in terms of health, like within reason, right? Like, I'm not. There's obviously bad shit everywhere. I'm not saying that that's the thing, but like certain dishes, right? Because the more I research into like, microbiomes and digestion and the ways different nutrients become more bioavailable once they interact with each other or are processed different ways. Like, for example, you need to have black pepper in order to absorb turmeric, right?
Mhm.
And then somehow recipes over time always have those two things together, right? And if you just think about that kind of as your like a base reaction, you think about how like you look at a plate of food developed from these cuisines that people have been eating for thousands of years, right? That why is it that combination of sauces, spices? Why is that one stewed, but this thing can't be stewed as well, so it doesn't make it's not in the stew, but it's like garnished on top, right? And this thing is so aromatic, so you only put a little bit here, and you mash it all up when you chew it, right? And then it comes down into your stomach, like it already comes in this like balanced little thing, and it's also balanced to our palate, And so when it comes in here, there's like a magic that happens that science hasn't been able to figure out, because otherwise, yeah, we would just be drinking shakes and the nutrition problem would have been solved, right? But the nutrition problem hasn't been solved, and my hot take or my guess is that maybe we've regressed because we've tried to isolate too many things together apart, where really things are always meant to be together. Like you look at these Mediterranean diets, right? Or it's a salad. Why is a salad such a big thing? Well, because it's like this. It's the mixture. It's the fucking combo that does it.
so you're saying possibly people that have stomach issues are making it worse over time by like being like, oh, I can't eat this, this, and this, and I'm only eating, A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
So we should, take someone that has stomach issues to like, I don't know, like an Ethiopian place and be like, yo, what's the most exotic dish you have in here?
I mean, I don't know. When the damage has already been done, I don't I have no idea about how to get back. Right? Like, I'm not making a claim about that. I'm just making a claim about how, or not a claim, just conjecture
A hot
about how
take.
we even, yeah, a hot take about how we even got here is because we've just like we should just go back to some traditional foods,
We should have
and
a
look at that again.
let's do a weekly challenge where we go eat a dish or cuisine that we've never eaten before and pick a dish that we would never pick.
Oh, that'd be
I think
fun.
I think that'd be a fun one.
I think that'd be a
You,
really fun one.
you know how people always ask, I forget the question, but it was like, okay, so are you the type of person that likes to go to the same restaurant and order the same thing, or a different restaurant, order the same thing, or a different restaurant, order a different thing? I always like to go to different restaurants but order the same thing because then I have a baseline of like, okay, I know pho tastes like this here. If I go to the other restaurant, I can like gauge the quality of this restaurant based on pho and an order of gagul.
Yeah,
I literally eat those two things at every single pho restaurant I've ever been to. So in my
yeah,
head, like I'm an aficionado on this, and so like if they start putting like fucking bean sprouts and shit in their gagul, I'm like, yo, get that shit out of here, man. Like
yeah.
that's not the way. And then so I judge the whole restaurant through that lens. But I've never gone to a restaurant that I know nothing like like let's say Ethiopian food. I don't think I've ever had Ethiopian food, honestly. I heard it was good though, so honestly
Oh,
it
we
might
should
be a move.
go. Yeah, we
But
should
let's
go.
say going there and then looking on the menu, there's probably 20 dishes I've never fucking heard of, and then just like being like, all right, that one.
Yeah,
Um, we should do a weekly challenge for that. That'd be a fun one. Maybe we can get Sushi
yeah,
Japan if they want to come.
yeah. We should go. Yeah, we should do that for Ethiopian. They're fun. I could do that. That would be within my. That'd be healthy enough.
Should we?
Um.
Wait, are you familiar with Ethiopian food or any type? Like
Yeah.
what genre are you not familiar with that you're like, I wonder why I never tried. I don't know what's the genre that I guess Ethiopian is African, but African like there's probably a bunch of different ones. Um, I'm about to sound super ignorant, so I don't want to start guessing at cuisines and shit. But
Um. There's not many. I would say maybe Turkish, and the other one is, um, and it's there's so many opportunities to do this here, and we haven't. But South American cuisine, and by that
ooh,
I mean distinguishing between what's the difference between Bolivian, Ecuadorian, El Salvador, Peru. Like they all, some of them are all similar, but I can't figure out the differences. And there are a lot of options in our area to actually uncover that. So that might be interesting.
I want to do like super minimal research. For
Yeah.
instance, like because I don't want to just roll up to the restaurant and not know what to order. But let's say I don't know wrote on Reddit, hey, I'm going to an Ethiopian restaurant for the first time. I know zero.
Yeah.
Can somebody give me a top five dishes and what should I know about it? Somebody will probably like put 5 minutes into a response, and that'll be the 80/20 I need to kind of get started.
Yeah. I love how we went into this like food hot takes thing, and I would love to do this again because food hot takes is actually pretty fun. I mean, I posted a food hot take on my Instagram this week. You saw that one about bowls.
What was the? I disabled my Instagram for the week, so I haven't seen anything.
Oh, nice, nice, good for you. I made this claim. I posted a picture of a dinner that I had made for myself, meal prepped, and I was saying, like, I'm unreasonably serious about the fact that bowls are the best, like, food, effort, cost, value, taste ratio of all the meals you could have. Um,
Like bowls, as in like Chipotle bowls, or just like
poke bowls, Chipotle bowls, kava bowls, salad
right.
bowls, roti bowls, buntit nung, like
So
the
like
role play stuff, like
yeah, like the
yeah,
fast
just
casual type beat.
yeah, fast casual type. But basically, people. I mean, that's how I do my meal prep. It's always a bowl. Um, you make a salsa, you make a grain, a carb base, you make, a meat, and then you just throw it together. And yeah, I don't know. It's the best, dude, because you can cycle out. Oh, what protein that week, right? It can be pork this week, fish next week, beef next week, cooked this way, this way, this way. The carb can change. Like it's a million options. Like literally, More than a million, probably a trillion options. I think now that I think about it.
That'd be fun to try to like systematize some shit like that within your own house.
Yeah,
Like, how would you set that up to make it so you do the least prep possible, but still have healthy, tasteful meals like on hand? And then obviously there's a balance because I think you meal prep everything on Sunday. I think that's what a lot of people do. Um, I think you get some of, I mean, you definitely get some of that benefit, but then you lose like a little bit in terms of like, okay, by day 6 or 7, it's just not going to taste as good. Um,
yeah.
but
So,
yeah,
I mean, when I worked for you guys at the salad station, I wanted to ask, how much it would be to buy one of these things because I felt like that was the ultimate optimization, right? Because when people think meal prep, they like pack individual Tupperwares, right? And
hmm
it's set. But for me, I was like, man, this is not as optimal, right? Like this thing that I have here where I lift it up and there's a chopping board and I chop it and I throw it into a bin. And so basically, anytime I'm hungry, I just walk up to that thing with a bowl, lift it up, throw, like scoop myself whatever I need, close it, and then leave. Like I was like that. I think that's probably the easiest thing. And every week or every couple days, like whatever's in those things changes, right? Depending on how long they keep or whatever I want to cycle out.
there has
Um,
to be a home version of that.
yeah, I mean, I think that's the best thing ever created is that little salad station. And there's a fridge below and a cutting board right there. Like it's the best. It's the best thing ever. It's one of my
So,
favorite things.
yeah, just have a commercial kitchen.
Yeah, damn, I'm gonna buy one of those.
Someone probably has something similar like that at home, right? I feel like I've seen that on Instagram or something.
Yeah. So,
What would that even be called?
I told this vision to my ex, and she ended up buying me this thing called a prep deck. That is like,
Oh, prep deck.
yeah, but it's not refrigerated. It's just, I mean, it's a little station that you can create, but it's not a, yeah, it's a portable little station you can create with a chopping mat.
Prep
So,
deck. Oh yeah. I guess they're trying to do it with this thing. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
All right, so yeah, dude, food hot takes are cool. I also think clementines are the best fruit ever. I've probably said that like 100 times to you guys. I'm sure it's
Dude,
appeared on this
when we
podcast.
get our Clementine tattoos,
Are we
or
doing
you're gonna get your Clementine?
what's his face does a Mandarin fast? You know that dude from the Aya thing? What's his name? Eric?
Oh, uh,
Remember Eric?
yeah, Eric. He does that.
Is it Aaron? Eric, right?
The guy
The
who did it
guy,
with us.
yeah, the guy that has like all those like one-liners or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he said that he only eats mandarins because um it's not common knowledge, but mandarins have all the nutritional value like things that you need. And if you only eat mandarins, then it's fine. And then so he just eats mandarins or something like that.
It's a little suspect for me.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
Maybe mandarins are the move.
Should I try it for my fight camp? Do you think
No,
that's
probably not a good time to try
yeah.
that.
What other food hot takes do we have? Oh God, things that are overrated. I mean, that's always the most fun, right? Just being a hater. Just things that are overrated.
I definitely think lobster's overrated. I fucking hate that shit. I hate any
Yeah.
fucking restaurant that okay, this is just my personal preference, but the restaurants that kind of like give you like a little bit of food um for like I mean because I think quantity and
Like
value is
Goggin.
definitely Goggin was cool. I actually like Goggin, but it was I think they did that I think they did that well. But I think a lot of restaurants that obviously aren't too Michelin star level like doing
Yeah.
that shit and then you just leave and you have to like hit up McDonald's on the way home. It's just
Yeah.
like god damn it, like I'm still hungry.
Yeah. Damn, how's McDonald's not made that part of their ad campaign? Like, come to us after you're you paid overpriced fucking like meals. Yeah.
Yeah, McDonald's is sick though. I never eat McDonald's unless I've been like unless I went out and drank and am like a little bit fucked up. but it always hits the spot.
Yeah, it definitely does. I'm a sucker for their soft serve cones. Like I'll roll through McDonald's for a $1 soft serve and then give them a credit card and roll out.
That's tight, dude.
They're an ice cream shop for me. Like they're an ice cream shop. Yeah,
Yeah,
McDonald's is amazing. Their menu is, I mean, it's not just McDonald's at this point, you know, but I still think it's just so crazy, like the amount of items they can like pump out of that little you know, unit.
Dude, I started getting hit with these YouTube videos. This guy opened a McDonald's and he's like, I guess like the franchisee or whatever, and he strapped a GoPro to his like to himself during a lunch rush, and he's like just making like sandwiches and shit. And I don't know, they just look really fucking efficient. It's like watching like real life Overcooked, but McDonald's like figured it out. You know what I mean? Like they literally figured it out, and you're just watching this dude just making sandwiches during a lunch rush. It's like a 5-minute video. It's pretty dope.
Oh, dude, you know how I always talk about like dichotomy, like things that split people? There's people who are hip to Overcook and people who are not.
Oh, yeah.
How do you explain to the people who haven't played Overcooked like what they're missing out on?
Damn, dude. I think if somebody didn't understand, or at least like they don't have to be good at it, but if they didn't understand like why that game is fun in terms of like the synergy that has to happen in the teamwork, and like everyone has clear roles, and then if we all work together, then we win at this game. I don't know if I could be friends with you. There has to be some sort of like clash in values there.
Yeah, exactly. That's why that's why I love these things that split people like that. Like, you know, Overcooked is a thing that divide. I mean, yeah.
Are there people that don't understand why that game is fun? Probably, right? There has to be.
Well, I have not. I've definitely met people who don't have that much fun playing it, but maybe it's because of the competitive, fast-paced, chaotic nature of it.
And
but
it could also be because
why it's fun.
Okay, yeah, because because it makes sense. Like, you know, if like you don't know how to use the controller, or you're not like, you know, into like video games, then it might not. Then I can see like, I mean, there's many reasons beyond like, but I feel like if somebody knew how to play it and they get the concept and they've played it a few times, but like they didn't understand why it was fun, then there has to be some sort of clash in values there. Because I'm all about like, I think the thing that's cool with that is like it's a very simple but systemized like thing, and everyone plays a specific role. We're clearly greater than the sum of our parts if we have these roles, and then like, you know, everyone has a job, and there's like this like mission that's like it's simple enough that everyone can understand what they need to do, but it's just like hard enough that if we don't listen to each other, we don't communicate well, then it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, this might be a little bit too much of a deep dive, but I did wanted to call something that I appreciated so much in Overcooked and games in general, about how like nuanced and deep it can get. Like, you know, in Overcooked when you first play, right? You go up to your station and you hit your button, right? And you grab the thing, or and then you go, right? Mm-hmm. But once you start getting good at Overcooked, you can like side swipe, pick the thing up without even stopping.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And that's like a whole nother level of like, if everyone on your team can like side swipe, pick it up, and then go and drop it off without having to stop, like they go
start like throwing shit.
Yeah, throwing shit. Oh, throwing shit. Like, oh yeah, there's one, like knowing how to dash without causing trouble, right? Picking things up on the run and then dropping things up on the run and then throwing it like right where it needs to go is like, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's a very well designed game.
Yeah.
Still waiting for them to come.
What a great game.
Still waiting for them to come out with a stage builder, so I could customize the environment inside Chasing Tails, inside Overcooked, and then use it to train people.
Can you like kind of like try to network your way to the creators of this and tell them to build a stage builder?
Dude, I've been following this. Dude, I hit up the Overcooked forums every like I don't make any posts, but I go onto the subreddit every like 3 months just to see if like a stage builder is coming. And people do bring it up. They're like, yo, when are they gonna have this? And they're like, I don't know, maybe a couple years, but like I don't think there's anything that's like I don't even
Yeah,
know if it's on the roadmap, honestly. But people talk about it in the forums.
yeah, that's
Pretty funny
awesome.
though. Overcooked stage builder.
Yeah,
That probably be fucking hard to do. They're probably not going to do that.
can't be too bad. I mean,
You don't think so?
because well, first you make it so that you can just customize known the recipes are already there, right? You just change the layout of the place. So just even having a layout that looks like your restaurant would be interesting just to start,
Yeah, I guess
right?
you'd have to make them be able to build the stage,
Yeah,
right? And then you would
right,
also have to make it so that they could like pick certain ingredients to create the recipes, right?
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then you'd have to put
It's
like little boxes to contain those ingredients at random places in the stage. And I wonder if you make it so like the stage can do like that weird shit where it like rotates and shit.
yeah. It wouldn't. I don't think it would be that hard. It'd be hard if you needed to make custom recipes. But if it was recipes that they already had in the game and you just wanted to customize the ingredients, right? Like I don't think that'd be hard.
Yeah, they should hurry up and get the fuck on that then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach my little kids how to play Overcooked when I have them. I'm like, all right, guys, we have to play. Dude, I should teach Leo and Liana. Yo, you guys want to play Overcooked? And I'll yell at
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Basically, it's fun.
This is pretty funny, dude. Hey, you think out of people that have kids, um, how what percentage of them are like, fuck, we shouldn't have done this?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I wonder how honest people
And
would be about that. I should text some of
like,
my friends.
yeah, I'm sure 100% of parents have had thoughts, right,
Right.
of that nature. 100% have been like, oh my god, what the fuck, like. But the actual like firm regret, that one's tough.
I wonder if you drew like a graph over time, like what that looks like. Obviously, like, obviously when they're losing sleep when they're kids, it's like, fuck, we shouldn't have done this, super high. But then maybe after they go to school, it's like, oh yeah, it's not that bad. And then it's like low again. But then teenage years, the kids are acting
Hmm.
up and shit, then it goes like super high. Then they get out of the house, and then now you just have this kid that you don't have to worry about. It goes low again.
Yeah, yeah, it's probably something like that. It's probably also really difficult where I can't remember what this term it is. It's when it's I think sandwich or something where you have to take care of your aging parents and take care of your kids at the same time. Like that would be really hard. I think.
Oh, that'd be annoying as hell.
Yeah, that'd be super hard. But
Damn. Hmm. Yeah, there has to be a time when that happens, though, for a lot of
yeah,
people.
yeah.
It's all right. You just feed them rice and beans and dark meat chicken.
That needs to be the first overcooked, the first overcooked base level. Then rice, beans, and chicken. Yeah,
How much rice,
yeah.
beans, and chicken can you eat in a day? Probably like less than $10, right?
Oh, probably. Yeah, I think it probably comes out to be way less than $1 a meal, probably.
So you're eating a lot. It'd be like $5 or $6 maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's chill, dude. That's like less than 1 hour of work minimum wage.
Should we do a rice, beans, and chicken week challenge? Well, maybe not right now because I mean that's kind of what I'm eating anyway. Just
I
a
mean,
little bit less than rice.
if you're down, then I'm down.
Yeah, no, I can't do it yet. I need variety. I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah, because my parents sometimes, because they cook at home, they're like, yo, what do you want to eat? I'm like, yo, just drumsticks and chicken thighs. And they're like, that's it. I'm like, what else do you need?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what you can add in for variety there. I guess that might get boring over time. What's the second meat?
Uh,
Is pork bad for you?
nothing's bad for you. That's what I subscribe to. There's no such thing as healthy and unhealthy in my mind. Yeah.
What about relative to other meats?
Not that I know. Nothing that I've seen or heard.
Yeah, chicken and pork then.
Yeah.
Pork's probably super cheap.
Yeah. From the way I've kept food fresh for me while I'm dieting and cutting is the secret is hot sauce and different types of acidity. Like squeeze a lemon over everything. Basically. But yeah, hot sauce, different hot sauces help.
It's funny that we spent like half this pod just talking about like food hot takes and how much it costs to live in terms of if you're trying to be healthy.
Yeah.
I'm also like really interested in the like whatever that 80-20 of cooking for yourself and like as efficiently as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of people do the meal prep thing, but I think there's a level above that you can go that doesn't cost as much and your food quality will go up a decent amount.
Yeah.
Because the once a week meal prep, yeah, that's nice and everything, but realistically, like you could probably do better than that.
Yeah. Well, where my mind goes first is like, what's the cooking appliance? And in recent years, obviously, there's a bunch that have gotten popular, like slow cookers, pressure cookers, sous vide. But the way, and this is the problem with my mind, like I feel like that's just too JV. And like I'm thinking of something like, have you seen those Peruvian chicken roasters? That's like,
Yeah.
like what's something that cooks the meat and then like shoots it off into this thing and like packages it, or the Tupperware. I don't know, something where it's like a whole self-contained unit. Maybe it just does the whole thing.
I was using sous vides for a while. That was like really efficient.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't call it self-contained. I mean, it cooks the meat it only cooks meat, obviously, but but yeah, I actually
there's a high cost to that, right? Like the bags and this, like having to like.
Yeah, you do have to bag stuff. But I guess people do air fryers a lot now.
Yeah, air fryers. Gosh,
yeah, air fry a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Can't wait to if I have more time, maybe I'll start a YouTube cooking channel. And it'll just be me cooking shit as fast as possible. It's like, yo, this is 80-20, guys. This is not expert advice, but if you want shit done to 80-20 quality and less than $10 a day, and I'll have one recipe video. It'll just be how to make chicken, rice, and beans.
So that's why I posted my bowl, actually, like, because I think you and I are actually really good at doing 80-20 meals that taste good, that are easy and are cheap.
Yeah, I feel like
that's a whole fucking niche. Like, it's lazy food, though. It's lazy. It's really lazy. Like, I gotta make that clear. Like, it's super lazy.
Well, I think you have to draw like the curve. The two things you're trying to maximize is time and health. Like, there has to be two things that you're maximizing for, and it has to be very clear what those two things are.
Yeah.
Obviously, time would probably be one of them for sure, I think, or time, effort, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
And what's the other thing? It has to be what, health or costs, or maybe it's 3 or 4 things. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. It's multidimensional. I think it's. Anyway, it's funny. It's so funny.
It's funny. This episode like kind of went off the rails a little bit. We're just talking about.
I'll be honest. I'm hungry right now, and then when you brought up the lobster thing, I was like, "Oh yeah, let's talk about food."
Yeah, fuck lobsters, bro.
Yeah, I think lobsters are overrated. I think crab is good. Shrimp is underrated, I think. Because shrimp is hard for people to cook.
Damn, I can't make the title "fuck lobsters," right? It has to be something PC, or because it's not gonna go on YouTube if I put "fuck lobsters."
Yeah, just say
lobsters are overrated.
Just say chicken is better than lobster.
Chickens. Hot take. One drumstick is better than one claw. I kind of like the claws though, but I mean, I think head to head, a drumstick still does pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put a drumstick over a claw. I could do a thigh. I think drumstick sometimes has too much tendon, and it's like the meat gets a little lean.
I eat
But
all
a thigh
that
is
shit.
good all the way through.
Yeah, thigh's solid too.
Yeah.
Fuck, we don't have a title. Lobster's overrated.
No, the chicken has to be a part of it because if we just talked about lobster's overrated for a lot more reasons too. But the fact that you're putting chicken above it is so provocative. I literally bust out laughing as soon as you said that. I was not expecting chicken. I mean, I agree with you at the end. I mean, but like my immediate reaction was like, I can't believe this motherfucker just said chicken.
Dude, chicken's pretty fucking good. I almost had super chicken today, but I didn't, and I regret it.
Ooh. Now. Yeah, super Peruvian chicken, super chicken, yeah.
Yeah, chickens are it, man. That's probably why they're so plentiful. I mean, it's like a really solid, like, you can make.
Yeah, they're the most PC meat. I mean, they're just the most neutral, like, meat. So.
I can't. Okay, you're gonna have to help me with a title later. Something about chickens and something about lobsters, but I can't get the words right in my head.
Sure, sounds good.
Chickens and lobsters.
Oh my god. Okay. Have you seen the chicken episode of BoJack Horseman?
Maybe.
You can watch it standalone. You don't have to watch the whole. I mean, the show is one of my favorite shows, but like that episode's standalone.
How many seasons is it? I've watched like 2 seasons of it, then I kind of fell off of it. So I might have seen that episode of it's one of the earlier ones.
3 or 4, maybe 3 or 4. It might have been season 3, I think. But it's a pretty funny one because obviously BoJack Horseman is a world where they're all animals. So then you might ask, what do those animals eat?
Oh, dude, I think I do know what you're talking about.
Where the chicken escapes.
The little chicken farm?
Yeah, the chicken farm one.
Dude, I typed in chicken episode and it said BoJack Horseman.
Yeah. The chicken episode where the chicken escapes. But it's a meat chicken though, that's raised by a farmer chicken. Like it's fucked up, man. It's like you should also that episode and the one where I think women start to get guns, and so they ban guns. It's like my standalone BoJack episodes, right? Like that I like to recommend.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
All right, so weekly challenge, and maybe this can be sometime in the next week or two. Go eat at a restaurant or cuisine that we've never had before.
Okay.
And then pick some shit that we would usually never pick.
Oh, you know what we could do too, by the way? We could pick for the other person.
Are we picking to like help them or to be like, all right, it's gonna be fucked up to watch?
No, it's to fuck
Steven
them, yeah.
It's like some like goat testicles or something.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I want to be sure of though is whatever restaurant we pick has to be a good one. I don't want to just like go to some 3-star Yelp. Like let's say we go Ethiopian. If I didn't know anything about Ethiopian food except for that, hey, this is the best Ethiopian food restaurant in the area.
Yeah.
Then I would be cool with eating anything on that menu.
Okay, we should do this with Sushi Fam, our group of friends, right? We should have cards, right? And when you pull it, that's your partner, and you're gonna order for them. And yeah, we make sure the restaurant is good and vetted, but we won't go through the menu. Will be just a crapshoot, but the restaurant will be a crapshoot.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as we know that it's a good restaurant, then I'm cool with whatever we eat within that restaurant. Damn, we're probably gonna have to go to McDonald's after this, yo. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh god.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
Right,
report back.
All right, let's call it for this episode.
All right.
All right. You're gonna end up eating some fucking lobster or something.
So fun.